hear you waiting. Thank you for joining me on another installment of Pilot Pass, the podcast that discusses the first episodes of TV shows. Sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry, but we always can agree to disagree. My name is Matthew, and joining me in the co-hosting chair today is Michael Zavala. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
We are happy to have you, even though we had to pay you too much money, but we appreciate you showing up anyhow. Michael hosts his own show on MZ Now, which you can find wherever you find your podcast. Recent guests include the great Jodie Sweeteney from Full House fame, as well as Louis Anderson of Baskets fame. Can I say that?
Yeah, because he was great on that show. Have you guys done a pilot pass on that yet?
We have not. It is on the list. I adore that show.
Oh, it's so, and he's fantastic as the mom.
As the mom, yep. He's kind of scares me sometimes, but yes, he is perfect.
You know, he said he was basically being his mom during that show because it's believable. Even it's scary, but then after a while, you're like, okay, he's Zach's mom.
Yeah, and it just is. It's so great. We are not talking about baskets today. Today, we are talking about...
Oh, let me get my right notes in. I'm sorry.
Yeah, switch them up there. Get the right...
I was on the baskets.
No, there you go. Amazing Stories, which originally was a show from 1985 that Steven Spielberg created. That was what I first thought you were telling me to watch. And then I realized, oh, Apple has taken something over and redone it. So we have an Amazing Stories for the year 2020, which is out now. The first episode, or the pilot episode, as it were, is entitled The Cellar. It was written by Jessica Scharzer, and it follows, while restoring an old Iowa farmhouse, Sam discovers a portal in the storm cellar that transports him to 1919. Michael, let me ask, have you ever time traveled before?
No, I am working on a machine. I got extra time now because of COVID and all that. So I am putting some ideas. I fell off my toilet.
Oh, okay.
And hit my head and drew this thing I'm calling the flux capacitor.
Oh.
So I'm putting this stuff together in my free time. We'll see what happens.
I feel like that's going to be a success.
And if it is, I'm going to pitch it on Shark Tank. I'm going to pitch it to Cuban, maybe make a deal. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you know what? You're going to sidetrack me already, because did you know that the Ring Company tried to sell on Shark Tank and they rejected them?
Oh, really?
Yep.
And now they're one of the biggest surveillance, home surveillance companies in the world.
$1 billion company now. Boy, the sharks don't always know what they're doing. I don't think...
was off that day.
I know, right? Maybe he was drinking. Shh, I can't tell anybody. I don't know if these characters knew what they were doing either. And I think that if you asked him, Sam, I don't know who James is, Sam might say that he was drunk after he experienced this time travel situation. Amazing Stories. Again, it's a remake. Where did you hear about the latest version of Amazing Stories, Michael?
So Eric from MZ Now on the show, he's a co-host. We had been talking about how much we disliked the new reboot of Twilight Zone. And he texted me one day and said, have you watched Amazing? First, he asked if I still have my Apple TV, which I just used the free trial and I turned it off.
Smart.
And so I happen to have the free trial still. And I said, yeah, I still have it. And he says, watch Amazing Stories. It's like Twilight Zone, only better. Like he's talking about the new. He's not dissing Rod Sterling at this point. He's dissing more Jordan Peele. And I said, okay. And so I watch it, and a day later I had them all binged. It was
excellent.
Great.
Yes, I really enjoyed the pilot episode. My first impression was, why are they redoing this again? And then I remember that's all Hollywood does is redo things.
Which, by the way, I didn't even know there was an original. I didn't know there was a movie or anything.
The original I really enjoyed. I didn't see it when it first came out, but I've seen it as a young adult person. And the wonder and the joy that Steven Spielberg brought to the big screen, I feel like that he brought it to the small screen as well. I thought it had so much of his positive energy. I don't think there was a lot of bad energy that went along with that show, and that's why I really enjoyed it. That's why I was really excited, too, to see the new one. I was like, oh, okay, so what are we going to do now?
Yeah, I thought it was great. And, I mean, I got a whole tangent I'll probably go on later on, so I'll let you continue because I don't want to.
I love tangents. We will get
to the
there.
Show. And,
yes. Perfect. So basically, Amazing Stories in general is a set of stories, sci-fi stories, that we're told will transport the audience to worlds of wonder. through the lens of today's most imaginative artists. So it's a bunch of different ideas, hour-long ideas that kind of have a general theme that they put together. They allow different filmmakers, different creators to do each of the different episodes. Again,
Yeah, what do you call that? Is it an anamorphic series? Is that what it is, or is that a TV show I'm thinking of?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm going to pretend like you're right, and then nobody's going to question us.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. There's a word for that, but I'm pretty sure it's not anamorphic. I think that's a TV show. I'm not sure though.
It's a lens as well, but I don't really know.
Okay, that's perfect. That's it too.
So we got to this show, The Cellar. What were your first impressions of The Cellar?
Well, going into it, thinking Twilight Zone, I really liked that this show. It really did have wonder to it. It did feel like a Steven Spielberg production, and I really thought it was an interesting story. I don't know that it's completely original necessarily. I've seen a lot of sci-fi in my day, and I didn't think it was anything that was just mind-blowing. But I really love the story. Not sure I completely get it. Maybe you can explain it to me later. But I enjoyed it. I liked it. I had a good time watching it, and it made me want to watch more.
I can't wait till we get to the question segment of this because we're both going to have like 7,000 questions. Yes, the wonder. There's so much cynicalness that you see in shows now, and I love to be able to sometimes give it a little throwback and give it that kind of happiness, I guess, for lack of a better word. I mean, I think that this had a happy, complete story, and I was satisfied at the end.
I absolutely was too. I thought you're right. It had a lot of positivity. I didn't feel like, when you watch Black Mirror, you have that weird, you feel like you just kind of walked through a thrift store and tried everything on and you just want to go home and take a shower.
Yes.
That's kind of what it feels like to watch that show. But this show, you felt great. You felt happy. You're like, okay, cool. If that was me, would I do this? And, it opens up, you start thinking about it, opens up your imagination. I liked it. That's what art's supposed to do.
Exactly. I'm going to throw this out early. We may talk again about this later, but it had the same kind of feel to me that Erie, Indiana, the old TV show from the 90s had as well. That certainly revolved around a kid, but it was always just this, we're trying to find something out, but it's not like there's death or carnage on the other side of what you're trying to find out. You're almost looking for the pot of gold and trying to figure out what that is.
Yeah, no, I really liked it. I like I said, I don't want to give too much away now because I know we're gonna talk about it in depth later. But I'm really gonna do a Twilight Zone Amazing Stories comparison here in a little bit.
Oh, I love it. I love it indeed. So like I said, Steven Spielberg started this originally. He's still an executive producer of the now version of the show. The director for the first episode is Chris Long, and Edward Kitsis and Adam Horowitz is the ones that actually developed it for the 2020 version of the show. I think that we should talk about our favorite moments of the show, all the things that we enjoyed. We watched, the lines that might have got us, the characters that might have torn at our heartstrings. So tell me, Michael, what was some of your favorite moments of the first episode?
I don't know that there was any like standout moment for me, but I did like the way it ended, even though I'm confused on exactly kind of how he decided. I just I guess the dilemma that the main character goes through, without giving away too much, the dilemma the main character goes through and what he decides to do at the end, I thought was cool and kind of, it was like the Sopranos ending to me. I'm kind of like, man, what kind of happened there? Like what? But they do kind of wrap it up in a nice little bow. I felt like if it was me in the situation that he was in, I would have done something very different.
I would have, because I would never come back for her in the first place. I'd been like, good luck out there, lady.
Yeah.
Yes, let's just get into it right now because I do have a lot of questions. So 1919, but then he sees her in the future in 2023.
Right.
And she's got so she's like 100 whatever now, but she's not 100 and whatever now. She's only like 35, and now she's got the kid, but then he's not there. I didn't really understand what we're talking about there.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. And then so then he thinks there's a future with them.
Mm-hmm.
He goes back in time, and so how they go back in time is they go down this basement. They got to wait till the pressure of the basement goes down to a certain level or whatever. And then it opens up a time portal, and they're able to kind of go back in time. And it's just kind of random. Sometimes he's in the future, sometimes in the back. The basement's kind of in control of all that, I guess.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be started when there's bad weather, but by the end of the episode, it just was going. Like he would just go down there and it would just
Yeah.
switch him one time or
Yeah,
the other.
it would be sunny outside, and he could use it.
Yeah.
So and then so he goes back to get this girl because he finally finds the love of his life because Tinder wasn't working out for him. Which, by the way, you got to give it a chance. I mean, you were just swiping a couple of times, and then you find this girl like you don't even know her. You just met her for like 20 seconds.
Gave up too easy.
Yeah, so he finds this girl, and then he tries to bring her back to the present, and then a beam falls on his leg or whatever, and they can't. And the basement's during the flood, so he's got to make a decision: let the girl go to the present so she can have a great life, and he'll stay in the past. Which, by the way, I thought he was going to drown. I thought that was the whole decision.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which, at the same time, like, couldn't you just hold your breath and kind of reach that little wormhole thing? That's what I would have tried to do.
Yep.
He just gave up too easy. He's like, I'm just going to stay here in 1919. Go enjoy your life. And then it goes to a whole situation where now you see his life in 1919, and he's happy. Was he unhappy before? Like we didn't.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like they referenced that when he was talking to his brother, and his brother's like, "Hey, let's do this together," and he was like, "This is your dream, not my dream." So it seemed like that. Though it was again, so he goes back to 1919, and he's doing the same thing as he would have with his brother.
He has a construction company, and that's what they were doing. They were flipping a house.
Yeah.
In 2019, he goes back to 1919, and he's doing the same thing with less money and less technology.
Without his brother.
And like malaria and whatever
right.
Whatever flus and stuff they got going on there, 100 times worse than Corona.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just never understood why he wanted to stay in that. All of a sudden he was going to be happy. I didn't feel like his life was great. He didn't even meet a girl, right? Or did he meet a girl and then have a kid? I don't even know.
No, I don't think so.
They didn't even explain that. I thought the whole point was he was looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yep.
And
with
then
too many faces.
Then he goes to 1919, and then he's happy all of a sudden, and he's single. So why couldn't you just be single and work with your brother in 2019? First off, I'd be depressed because I would never see my family again.
Yeah, it would be weird. So does he sleep at the house every night that he's waiting in the beginning? Because he tells his brother, I'm not coming home. I'm not going to eat dinner. So does his brother eventually bring him food? Does he just lay on the floor there? How is his back feeling after all this situation is going down?
And what's his brother doing when he's gone in the little wormhole or time portal, whatever? His brother like looks for him for a little bit every time he's gone, can't find him. And then instead of like freaking out, calling the police, calling his name, like having a search party, the brother just goes back to work.
He's just like, yeah, he'll figure it out.
Like if I was taking one of my siblings out to flip a house and one of them disappears, I'm not going to just go back to work. I'm going to be like, hey, what's going on? I'm texting them, looking around the house. And, if a couple of days go by, I'm going to be freaking out.
Yeah,
calling
you
the
should.
Police.
You should probably figure that out beforehand. Yeah, I would
Right.
agree with you. That was weird. Why doesn't he, when he goes back, why doesn't he just kill the dude or beat that guy up?
Right.
Why has he got to mess up her whole life?
Yeah, that's another thing. There's a million ways to solve this problem, and I don't know. It's I think if you try to dissect too much of these stories, and we're just talking about this, the first amazing story, you can get really angry and passionate about how this logically doesn't make sense and how you would do something different. But hey, you know what? Is that what art's supposed to do? Is it supposed to open up a discussion?
Right.
Maybe
And
not this discussion.
sure. All that being said, I still enjoyed it. Like, I mean, I like to be able to pick things apart because it was for whatever reason that, I was just part of it. I like the characters, I like the actors that played some of these roles.
Yeah.
The outfits in 1919 were fantastic. I was very jealous. I didn't get to wear one. It was weird too, because when he has to stay back there for a few weeks, they have to wait for the storm to come back. Where does he get his new clothes from? Because he immediately starts dressing like 1919.
Yeah, perfect size. It wasn't like hand-me-downs.
Right. Yeah, who was hemming that stuff up for him? I don't get it.
Right, and that's some expensive clothes. He went to like a party, had a suit and stuff on. Who did that for him?
How does her mom find them after they go to the speakeasy?
Yeah, it's GPS.
Tracking. Oh, okay. Well, that's smart.
On the cell phone. They had that back in 1919.
It was on the iPhone. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
She probably had her location turned on Snapchat, and you can usually see where they are on a map.
You got to close that app whenever you're not using it.
Right.
Otherwise, people will find you. Did you believe that the band would just allow her on stage with him? Sight unseen?
Yeah. No, I didn't buy that. Also didn't think she was that great of a singer, by the way.
No.
If I was sitting up there and this is American Idol, I would have pushed the button, the buzzer button. Thank you. Keep working on it. We'll see you at another time or whatever.
Yeah,
And
I'm
that's it.
more of the voice, so I'd have never turned my chair around. That's my
Right.
reference.
Oh, I love The Voice. I hate American Idol. I should have said The Voice. But
No,
yeah, I would have kept my chair facing the wall.
So that was the dream. But I love anytime we're going to Speakeasy, so that's always fun.
Yeah.
As well. How did it look? Like, how did you feel like 1919 looked? I know that sometimes we shoot on digital nowadays. Different people are doing different things. Did it look good to you?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was. I thought I was watching kind of Dr. Quinn Medical Women. Like the sets and like film wise, everything looked the same to me. But the way the sets and the designs. I mean, if somebody walked in, obviously, if I walked in the room, somebody watching this, I wouldn't think they were watching Little House on the Prairie, but I would have thought they were watching some sort of, Western or something. I don't know. But yeah, I thought it looked fine. I thought it looked good.
Is the storm thing that they called it, I don't even remember what they called it, is that a real thing? Because I feel like they made it up for the show, but I don't want to look stupid looking it up on Wikipedia, so I'm asking you now. Was that real?
Oh, you're asking the wrong guy. What's funny is I had Al Roker on this morning. I should have asked him.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, you could have told us. But no, I think it was just a cheap plot device to get so they're sitting in the writer's room. They're like, hey, we have this. First off, they're like, how do we transport this guy from 2019 to 1919? Like, one of the guys I'm sure is like, it's obvious. He just goes down to the basement.
Right.
Duh. And then the other guy's like, that's genius. He goes, well, how does the basement activate? Oh, when a storm comes and then the pressure in the basement gets whatever. Oh, perfect. That makes perfect sense. And that's they're done. They wrote up the whole episode. Probably wrote it in 30 minutes.
Call up Mr. Apple and sell it to him.
Yeah.
This is an hour show, so you'd only have to add another 30 minutes. But do you think that this first episode would be better as a movie? What do you think?
It could be a movie. I don't know that it'll be better because you're stretching out. I mean, we got it. We got it. We understand the concept. There wasn't a really, it wasn't a huge story. In fact, I think an hour was too long. Like you could have gone down to 30, 45 minutes and that would have been perfect. But yeah, it could have been a good movie, but you would have to stretch and fill a lot of stuff to make it work. And I would have lost interest.
A lot of fluff, though. Maybe we follow her mom, and maybe her mom is degenerate, and she goes out and maybe she's whoring around. Could have got that angle. You don't know. Right. Or the new husband, maybe he has, I don't know, maybe he plays football before they played football, and he's like the inventor of that.
And then they get a spinoff. Then they can turn it into a series, a spinoff, series on the guy that invented football.
There you
called
go.
Coach. There's never been a TV show called Coach, right? So we can just make one like that.
Exactly. I was going to say Leatherheads and steal that from the George Clooney movie myself. Let me ask you a question. Amazing Stories is obviously a sci-fi TV show. We've had a lot of those over the years. So I want to talk about, if we were the Netflix, what will we recommend to people if they watch this show? Now, this is not a straight recommendation. It doesn't necessarily have to be another sci-fi show. It could be any kind of show at all in the world. I will let you think about that. I will give you my answer first. If I was going to compare this to something, I wanted to go crazy. I wanted to be a little inventive, but quite honestly, I couldn't help but have to talk about Quantum Leap right now.
Okay, yeah.
The greatest sci-fi TV show ever. I'm going to say it. I'm saying it right now. It has a lot of problems, but I adored that show. And I feel like that if you watch this show, Amazing Stories, you will love Quantum Leap. More people need to watch it. More people need to remember it. I'm saying recommend Quantum Leap.
I'm going to go not original whatsoever. And I'm going to say Twilight Zone and Black Mirror.
Excellent. Those are two very good recommendations. So this is a lighter fare as far as like Old West kind of stuff goes. So I wouldn't say Deadwood, but is there any like, oh, you know what? I'm going to throw you something. I hope that you know this show, but you may not. There's a show on Hulu called Quick Draw. It's it's this 30-minute Western.
Is it a blue dog?
It is not. It is not that.
It's not Quick Draw McGraw?
No. So the main character is the new sheriff in town. He went to Harvard. You know that because he tells you that every single time he's on camera.
Well, everyone that goes to Harvard tells you that.
Exactly.
That's how you know.
And it is one of the funniest shows that's ever been created. And it's more of a Western. It's not, there's no sci-fi involved, but there's a whorehouse. So it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So that's my recommendation. Quick Draw. It's a Hulu exclusive. So go check that out. Is this anyone's best? A little segment we always like to talk about. Is this anybody's best? Is this anybody's mountaintop? Is this anybody's everything that they've ever made led up to this? I don't know many of these people on this show, so it's going to be hard to talk about the people. So we will talk, first of all, right off the top, Mr. Steven Spielberg. Is this his mountaintop?
No, it is
Okay.
not. But let me ask you this.
Yes.
What is his mountaintop?
That is an excellent question. I'm going to say E.T.,
Okay.
but I'm
This
probably
might be-
wrong.
I don't know. I really don't know. I go back and I watch. This is not a Spielberg episode, but I go back and I watch some of the stuff that I used to watch as a kid, and I'm like, is it really good, or did I just think it's good? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Is it nostalgia? Is it really? Is Steven Spielberg overrated? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. But this would
Wow.
not be the mountaintop. This would be more in the muffin top, more in the mid area.
Yeah, we're in the Catskills
Right.
with this one. I agree with you on that. You know what? Maybe I'm going to change that answer. I'm going to change it to one of the Indiana Joneses, probably the third one, because he'd made the first two. He was probably about as big as a director could get at that point. So I'm going to say the third, Indiana Jones.
You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say his. It's going to be a twofer, but I'm going to say his mountaintop, in my opinion, Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain.
Oh, yes. Yes, what an excellent answer. You get bonus points for that. If I gave away gold stars on this show, you just got one, sir.
Thank you.
That is a gold star answer if I've ever heard one. Let's see. So is this 1911's best? What shows are from 1911? Boardwalk Empire? No, that was older than that.
Yeah, I don't know. Little House on the Prairie?
Ooh, yeah.
Is that 1919? That's early 1900s, right?
I like that answer. We're going to go with that's probably the mountaintop on this thing. Though this was good. This was definitely up there in the discussion for 1911.
Absolutely.
How about barometers? High water barometer?
I don't remember seeing a barometer in anything before, so I would say yes. I would say this is the mountaintop for a barometer.
Excellent. One more. Was this the mountaintop? Ooh, it's not going to be the mountaintop, but I need to know, what is your favorite whirlpool in a movie? Like the whirlpool at the end when the they're going back in time.
Yeah.
Or pre in time.
You know, it's been done so much that I can't pick one out. Is there one in like a monster movie at some point where I just remember a boat in a whirlwind or a whirlpool? You know what? I'll change my answer.
Yes.
The washing machine, whirlpool.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with that. That's the mountaintop.
Darn it, you beat my answer. I'm going to leave it at that because that was a good answer. So we bounced it back and forth. We've talked about it. We've kicked it around. Amazing Stories is the pilot pass. And we need to know, would Michael recommend, again, this is just based on the pilot episode. If you've seen any more, don't let them taint your answer. What do you say, good sir?
Based on this one, and honestly, this is really the only one I remember. I've watched them all. This one, I would continue watching, and I would absolutely recommend it because here comes my Twilight Zone rant.
Do it.
I'm a big Twilight Zone fan. Season 1 and 2 of Twilight Zone and CBS All Access reboot with Jordan Peele as producer. People say it's Jordan Peele's show, but I don't even think he writes it. He's the name. He doesn't have much to do with it, I don't think.
Right.
Other than host. And that season 1 was basically Black Mirror because the writers couldn't get Black Mirror out of their mind. And every show had to deal with technology. And then season 2, they got a little bit better. They got away from the technology, but it still wasn't quite there. They're missing the point of Twilight Zone. They're missing the stories. As Twilight Zone story should be able to stand on its feet regardless of what period of time it's in, what kind of technology. It's about the story. And Amazing Stories does that right. There's not one element of technology. This show could have come out, same type of storylines, same episodes. It could have been done in the 90s. It could have been done in the 70s. It doesn't matter. The technology is not part of the human existence in these worlds and these stories. It just happens to be a tool. I'm swiping through Tinder, but it has nothing to do with what's going on with the story and humanity and these stories of people. And so I would say this: if you're a writer on Twilight Zone season 3, watch The Amazing Stories, even if it's just this first episode, and learn how to write stories for Twilight. Now, this doesn't have the same like Twilight Zone has a creepiness feel to it, which I like. I like that. What's going on? What's happening? Is this a creature? We in Mars? What's going on? Amazing Stories does not have a creepiness. It does feel very positive and light and uplifting. But you can easily change these stories to be Twilight Zone and add a little creepiness to it and add a little bit of what makes Twilight Zone Twilight Zone. So anyway, that's my little rant. And I if you're a writer listening to this, which I'm sure you are, for CBS All Access, watch Amazing Stories. Do not watch Black Mirror. Get that out of your mind. Black Mirror wrote themselves in their corner. They can't do a show if it doesn't have technology in it. That's their whole gimmick. Leave them, let them do their thing. And to be honest with you, Black Mirror is overrated. In my opinion, I think Black Mirror is overrated. We'll talk about that in another show.
Hot takes all around. Yeah. Goodness gracious. That is what I'm talking about. I love all those points. I agree with all those points. Being able to have a show that can also be for kids is okay. Not everything has to be a biting satire of the world that we live in now,
Absolutely.
Escapism is okay. They even, I like what you talk about with technology. They tease you at one point. He's like, let me show you my phone. And then he ended up having to show the picture to prove, that where he's from. And I like that. I didn't want any phone stuff in this. I didn't want to have to do all that kind of stuff. So that was a different angle that I really liked that they took. I would recommend this as well. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm glad that you picked this for the show. This was your choice. So I'm glad that I got to watch it. I'm looking forward to watching some of the other ones. I'll probably even go back and watch the originals now. I enjoyed this so much.
Well, now I'm going to have to watch the original because I didn't know before this episode that there was a movie on it. So I'm going to have to watch it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's good stuff. And I didn't know there was a new one until you told me. So there you go. Trading ideas, trading knowledge, trading information between the two of us. That is excellent. And so here we are. End of the episode, Pilot Pass, a little show called Amazing Stories on Apple TV. I don't know why we keep supporting Apple TV, but we do. That free 7 days is great.
Like I said, it's the only streaming platform where they give you the free trial and you can watch everything on the platform during that free trial. No other streaming service does that. So
I don't know. DC Universe was a pretty crappy streaming service as well.
Yeah, but at least you had seasons of shows that you could go and watch Lois and Clark or whatever. You had stuff to kill the time. Apple TV, you watch the 3 shows and that's it. What else are you going to do? Rent a movie.
Go over to the Red Box. There you go. Indeed. Again, Michael has a show that you can listen to that he is on every week, MZ Now. You can find that wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, and all those other kind of places. He also has a website. Am I getting this right? MZ Now I messed it up. What's the website?
mznow.tv.
.tv. I always forget the .tv. If you want to go see some other stuff, like I said, he's having some great guests on. Just blowing me away with all the people that you get to have on and get to speak to and talk to. I love listening to your interviews because you always have fun. And it's not, you don't seem like a fool out there, even when you get nervous talking to somebody like Jodie Sweetney.
Well, there's a lot of editing. So
smart.
Thank God for editors.
There you go. Thank you again for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate that. We will talk to you next time.